I don't know how it happened, but when I stopped sharing Desmos, somehow I ended the other video. I don't know what happened, but it did. Yippee skippy. So, anyways, the slope on that thing was 5/3. So, it also wanted to know the perpendicular slope. So, perpendicular is the opposite sign and the fraction flipped over. So, 3/5. So, it needed to know the slope. So, we did that. It needed to know the y-intercept. So, that's what we did there. It needed you to graph. I already showed you that. And then it needed the slope of the perpendicular line. So that problem wanted quite a bit of stuff. Now, this problem right here, you got 3 dots here, so you can choose these 2 dots, you can choose these 2 dots, you can choose these 2 dots, whatever you want. I like the easiest right there. Okay? It's over to the right 1 and up 2. Remember, slope is rise over run. 2 over 1 is the same thing as just 2. Now, the nice part about this problem is, right there is our B, our y-intercept. Okay? 1. Now, mx plus b. This is m, this is b, so 2x plus 1. Now, on homework, you got to get it right. If you're doing a test and it's on time, in other words, not, like the week or so before finals and way late, then as long as you're basically on time with your tests, whatever you have here and here, even if they're wrong, as long as this matches, even if these are wrong, as long as they match this, you'll get partial credit. You'll get full credit for this one. Okay? Number next. The slope and 1 point of a line are given. So remember, it comes in x, comma, y, and we're going to use this y equals mx plus b formula. All right? X value goes where x is. M goes where m is. Y goes where y is. So 2 And let me change colors here. So 2 equals 1 times 1 plus b. Well, I know that that is 1, and I need to get b by itself, so I minus 1 to both sides. So 1 is equal to choppa choppa b, and my m is 1, and it wants the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, and that's exactly what this is. So y equals 1x plus 1. Now, I know everybody loves working with fractions, right? Yep, that's exactly what I thought. So let's turn it into decimals. Using Mr. Goodbuddy, 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. 5 divided by 4 is 1.25. Then, remember I said label them. x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we've got the Goodbuddy formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now remember, those two minus signs have to be there. So let's go ahead and put them. All right. Y2 is 1.25. Y1 is 0.5. And then x2 is negative 0.5. And x1 is negative 2. Minus a negative choppa choppa. Now, sometimes it's easier to just use a calculator. So 1.25 minus 0.5 is 0.75. Negative 0.5 plus 2 is 1.5. So 0.75 divided by 1.5 is 0.5. Now, unfortunately, we have to turn that into a fraction. I don't like it. But the issue is in standard form. Okay? In standard form means we have to kill the fractions. Now, this is an x and a y. This is our slope. Well, we could leave it here for right now. We could leave it here for now. This is x, that's y. So 0.5 equals -2 times 0.5 plus b. Yuck. Now that's -1. Now, I'm going to add 1. So 1.5. And when I turn that into a fraction, that's 3/2. Oh, yuck. So, what I gotta do, are you ready? Standard form, remember, standard form was on the previous page. It was a ax plus by equals c form. And none of them, A, B, and C, none of them are allowed to be fractions. Yeehaw. So, for right now, we got y equals 1/2 x plus 3/2. Well, I gotta kill the fractions by multiplying by the denominator. 2 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2, choppa choppa. That gives me 2 y's equal 1x, or just x, plus 3. Now, I gotta have x and y together. So the last thing I gotta do is minus x to both sides. Choppa choppa. Negative x plus 2y equals 3. Now, when it takes me this much work to do one little bitty problem, that's a big fat hairy deal. Just saying. Just saying. Use 2 points to find this equation in standard form. Well, we kind of sort of did that a little bit. Okay. Here's B. Now the next nice good point is right there. It went down. So that's minus. And that went down 2 spaces. Don't count the lines, count the spaces. 1, 2 spaces. Count the spaces. 1, 2, 3 spaces. Rise, overrun. So you started out in slope-intercept form. Now I've got to kill that 3. I kill that 3 by multiplying everything by that denominator. Kind of like a seesaw. If I add 3 kids on one side of that seesaw, I have to add the same amount on everything. So that gives us 3y's equal negative 2x's plus 15. And the last thing I gotta do is get that x to the other side. And because it's going to the opposite side, it takes the opposite sign. You may need to watch this video more than once, or you may have to watch the other videos that go with the homework more than once. So this equation is already in standard form. It says find the x and the y intercept. Now remember, and I like this, when it's in standard form and you have to find the x and the y intercept, let x be 0 one time, let y be 0 the other time. Okay? And I like this. When x is 0, that term goes away and you're left with negative 5y equals 5. The opposite of times and by negative 5 is to divide by negative 5. Positive divided by negative is negative. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now, the sneak is when y is 0, negative 5 times nothing is nothing, it goes away. And what you're left with is negative 4x's equal 5. The opposite of times and by negative 4 is to divide by negative 4. And that's your answer. Now, part B I will do last because part C is better done in this format. Believe it or not. And I like it that way. Okay? So negative 4x minus 5y. Here's your x. Here's your y. So negative 4 times negative 3 minus 5 times 1. And does that equal 5. Well, negative times negative, choppa choppa.